Mary Alice and Don Shurtz settled in remote Escalante, Utah, where trained medical help was non-existent. Mere days after their birth, Mary Alice's first 2 babies died and joined the many others in the town cemetery. Heartbroken, Mary and Don wondered aloud, will we ever be able to raise a family? But in time, they were blessed with 5 healthy children. In 1899, in a Relief Society meeting, Mary Alice heard about a call for rural women to train for 6 months to become midwives. Oh, how she longed to help keep babies from going so soon to the graveyard. But she had her own family to care for, so she put it out of her mind. But when no one else volunteered, Mary gathered up her courage and hesitantly asked Don, "Is there any way I could go to Salt Lake City for the training?" Don smiled and said, "Go, go. The older children and I will take over your duties while you're away." And Mary breathed a huge sigh of relief and joy. When Mary Alice returned from her training, she eagerly began to offer her services to expectant mothers, confident she now knew how to reduce the high rate of infant mortality. But her higher price, $5, initially discouraged anyone from hiring her. She explained to them that, unlike the local untrained medical practitioners, she would go to the expectant mother's home a week before the delivery to clean and sanitize. She would help with the birth of the baby, then stay a week or more to help the new mother learn how to keep her newborn from becoming ill and dying. Her much more thorough service eventually won over all the area mothers. Over the 35 years Mary served as midwife, from 1900 to 1935, she delivered more than 600 babies. Under her watchful care, the mortality rate dropped to 0. Not one baby or mother was lost. When Mary's youngest daughter, Elizabeth, known as Bessie, announced her plans to marry her childhood sweetheart, Ed Baker, Mary Alice excitedly helped Bessie sew a beautiful white lace wedding dress and make all the other preparations. 3 weeks before the planned wedding, Mary Alice was unexpectedly called out of town to deliver a baby. After waiting so long to be married, Bessie and Ed decided to forego their church wedding and elope. As Mary was returning from the delivery, she met Bessie and Ed on the trail. Bessie announced they were riding out of town that very moment to be married on the Death Hollow Trail. Mary burst into tears and asked, "What will you do with your wedding dress?" Bessie flippantly replied, "Oh, I'll save it and be buried in it." After their elopement, Bessie and Ed moved to another town to start their lives together. About a year later, Bessie and Ed returned to Escalante. Bessie was pregnant, nearly ready to give birth, and said, "Mother, will you be my midwife?" Mary smiled and said, "Oh, of course, dear, of course." Bessie soon went into labor, and it became a very difficult and complicated delivery, the most difficult Mary had ever done.
This isn't right. It shouldn't be like this. Your children are supposed to bury you, and Elizabeth should be here with Bessie in her arms instead of me, doing what she ought to do. So many times I brought her mother through a difficult delivery such as this, but everything they taught me and everything I've learned was not enough to save my girl I miss. They were so happy, so full of hope. It seemed the dreams were coming true. This was the start. But now this family left behind are all heartbroken, and I'm hoping, God, that you can heal my broken heart. This isn't right. It shouldn't be like this. This wedding dress should symbolize new life, instead of being a shroud for this cold and lifeless body of this mother, this daughter, this wife. Forgive me, God, but this isn't right.